Hi, I'm Bianca from All About Beads, and today I'm going to show you how to make a braided bead bracelet. For this project you're going to need about 1.5 meters of tiger tail, and I've cut this into 6 lengths of 25 centimeters long. You're going to also need 12 crimp beads, about 20 centimeters of 22 gauge craft wire, a toggle clasp, 2 triangle ends. These are 14 millimeters wide and they've got a open gap in them. Size 11/0 seed beads, and the tools I'm using are just cutters, crimping tools and some round nose pliers. So what you need to do first is cut a piece of craft wire about 10 centimeters long. And here I'm just going to create a loop. This loop needs to be quite big, so go right to the end of your round nose pliers and just create a loop. Cut off any extra from what you've wrapped around the end. I just want this loop here to be a bit more triangle shape, so just with my crimping tools. It doesn't matter really, this doesn't have to look perfect because it's going to be sitting up inside our triangle end. Okay, next what you need to do is on one string of your tiger tail, thread on a crimp bead, and then we're going to attach it to our loop we just created. And just crimp that down. So what we need to do is go ahead and attach all 6 pieces onto here. Okay, so once you've attached all the strings onto the loop we created, I've just gone and trimmed off all the little tails. I think there was one I missed. I've still got one more to do here. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. So just to make sure that it all fits and everything's the right size, just get one of your triangles, just put it in. And your threads should all sit coming out like this. Okay, so we don't need to use this yet though, just checking that it's all right before we thread on. So now what we need to do is grabbing the first string and stringing on your seed beads. So for my particular design, what I'm going to do is I'm doing my braid in 3 different colors. So the first 2 strings I'll do in my first color, the middle 2 strings I'll do in the next color, and the last 2 in this color. So starting with your first one, just string on all your beads. Okay, so once you've threaded on your seed beads, I've threaded mine to 15 centimeters of seed beads onto my string. This should make a bracelet around 19 centimeters. So if you want your bracelet a little bit bigger, just add a few more seed beads. Okay, so now I'm going to string on one of my crimp beads, and I'm just making a small loop at the end. this loop, it's just got to be big enough because we're going to attach an end, a wrap loop at the other end. So only about 2 mil big. Just make sure all your seed beads, there's no, you know, that the tension's right. Wrong tool. And just squashing that right down. Okay. And just cut off any excess tiger tail. So we need to go and do that with our remaining 5 strings. Okay, once you've strung all your beads onto the strings and crimped off the ends, and you've got all your little loops at the end, next what we need to do is cut another piece of craft wire, about 10 centimeters, and with your round nose, we're just creating another loop. We're only going to do the first part though, because we need to attach it to our bracelet before we wrap it around. Okay, and again, just try and make this into a bit more of a triangle shape. Okay, just open up a little bit so it makes it easy to string it on. For braiding the bracelet, I'm just going to use a clipboard, just makes it a bit easier to do your braid. You can sticky tape or anything just to hold it in place. And just start doing your braid. When I do my braid, I make sure that the strands don't overlap each other, so try keep them sitting flat, so then it'll sit a lot nicer when you're wearing it. Okay, once you got to the end, just picking up all your strings, trying to keep them still in the braid that you've done. And then our little loop that we started before, we just want to take them through all our loops. So we got so far. Now you just want to wrap this around and finish the wrap loop. Just cut off any extra that you've got sticking out there. Okay, now we've got both of our ends. You can just pull your braid down so it's all nice and even. Okay, next what we want to do is getting one of our triangle ends and stringing it on. At this stage you can just check, so I'll put this end on as well and just check how long my bracelet, just make sure that the length is right. So that'll be fine. Before you add your clasp, if you find your bracelet is a little bit too short, just to make it a bit longer, you can add a couple of beads onto your craft wire at each end. Just to finish mine off, I'm just going to put on a little seed bead on each end. Just make sure that's pulled up right. So I'm just putting on one seed bead. And now I'm going to create another loop. So this loop can be just a small one because we're just doing it to attach our toggle clasp. Okay, so before you wrap around, make sure you add your clasp. And then just wrapping down. So that's one side done, and we're just going to go do the exact same thing on the other side. So putting on one seed bead, one won't fit on, okay, and create a loop. You've got a little bit of wire sticking out, just using your flat nose pliers, just push it down. And that's it, our braided bead bracelet is made. Thank you for watching.